you talked about new rules. So in your own words, to start us off, how are you planning to, what are these new rules and how do they apply to Japan?
Traditionally, the gaming industry is ran by very old management teams, and there's a very fixated set of practice that all of these management teams go through. And what Melco has been trying to do, whether it's in Macau, Manila, or Cyprus, and of course the ultimate goal has always been Japan, is to really make use of the latest technology, the latest in thinking, which will translate into better corporate governances, more focused on generations in the future. I hear my counterparts talking about, oh, the payback here, it's 5 years, 7 years, whatever. For Melco, I'm 42 years old, the company is 15 years old. We think in 30, 40-year terms. And henceforth, our investment horizon is also longer. And that's why we always want to say, whatever we build in Japan needs to be Japanese and original. I've been coming to Japan since I was 5 years old. It's the first country I ever visited outside of Hong Kong. And since then, I've been here 400 times, and I absolutely love it. There's so much history, heritage, and anybody who builds an integrated resort that is based on Las Vegas or Macau or anywhere for that matter, it would be a total insult to this country and the people. The tourism sector here is in its infancy. There's so much to learn and appreciate from the culture, the food, the entertainment. Everything is unique. Even the hospitality is unique. And so our mission is to really build something that's original, that pays the most respect to that. And in terms of sustainability, compliance, I think when we talk about the new generation, new era, new rules, is how do we respect all of that? How do we respect the history and culture and preserve that? And so for me, anybody lucky enough to win a license in Japan, it's hopefully our commitment that we need to do what's best for the country and look down 30, 40 years and grow along with the country rather than saying, I did this very well in Singapore or somewhere, I'm just going to replicate and duplicate it here.
Okay. In your recent investors call, you mentioned the Oryx MGM partnership as being a formidable competition. Obviously, to build that beautiful facility we just saw, you're going to need to win the competition in Osaka. What gives you the confidence that you will be able to do that and to beat out a partnership that's now combining the airport system with a very powerful American operator?
Oryx is a great company. I've known its chairman, Miyachi-san, for over 10 years. And he is a first-class gentleman. And any company lucky enough to partner with him in Oryx is naturally a formidable competitor to us. But at the same time, there are many Japanese corporations that have had hundreds of years of history and are also very well respected within the communities. And I would say there are different these big Japanese corporates that are headquartered in various areas. So of course Oryx is headquartered in Osaka, but for other bids for us, whether it's Yokohama or some other jurisdictions, there will be other companies that are equally important in those communities. For Osaka, we think we have a very compelling proposal, and our search for a partner continues. And our message to potential partners is that Melco have had the most successful track record of working with partners. We started off being a partnership between Crown Resorts of Australia and ourselves. In the Philippines, we have a great partnership with the SM Group. And even in Cyprus, we have a great partnership with the largest conglomerate down there, the CNS Group. So we've worked well with partners everywhere we've gone. And even on a smaller scale, we have great partners with our creative partners, like Franco Dragon for the House of Dancing Water. We have great restaurant. We have more Michelin stars and Forbes 5 stars than anybody in the industry. And again, a lot of those are in partnerships with Alan Ducasse, with Kanesaka of Tokyo. So we think we're a younger, new generation company that's inclusive. And so we will work great with partners, and we'll continue our partner search, whether it's for Osaka or for the Kanto region or for the Hokkaido region.
Okay. Well, if you say Hokkaido region, that seems to suggest that you would consider one of the regional markets.
I think we've been promoting IR in Japan for 14 years. And it's been my dream to do it. So it's, again, like I said in the presentation earlier on, it's not just another business venture. It's really a dream come true for me if I was able to do it. But something that hasn't changed for the last 14 years is that Melco's focus will always be on the big cities. And the reason for that is to fulfill the dream that I have of building the world's greatest, most technologically advanced, most original Japanese resort. You do need cities where the tourism appeal itself is highest. When people visit France for the first time, they're going to go to Paris. When they go to England, it's going to be London. So we need cities that are big enough and that can draw that type of visitors. And so our primary focus will be in the Kanto and the Kansai region. But at the same time, we have participated in the request for proposal in Hokkaido. We've participated in the RFI in Aichi. And so there are regional cities that we are interested in as well. But we're always a very open and upfront company. What we can spend and build in a big city is well in excess of $10 billion US. In a regional city with the less advantageous infrastructure, that wouldn't be possible. It just wouldn't be economically or financially viable.
What kind of timeline should we expect Melco to come out with this dramatic announcement of who your partnership is, or would you like to make that that announcement now?
Since you invited me to, no. No, I think we'll over time, because at the end of the day, even for Osaka, it's just at the request for concept stage. There's still a request for proposal. So I think for us, we'll wait as it becomes more mature to unveil more of our partners. But again, of course, there are partners at the equity partnership level, but then on a smaller scale, there are entertainment partners, food and beverage partners, MICE partners, construction partners, etc., etc. I think over time we might unveil more of that, but in our opinion, it's still too early.
I understand that you're very strong on environmental issues, solar power, wind power, plastic waste. You've been making a number of initiatives in that. Thinking that these IRs in Japan are likely not to open until the middle of the next decade, what is your expectation of what a Melco IR would look like in terms of its environmental strategy at that time?
Well, for us, we're constantly on the cutting edge of technology, watching how it benefits our guest experience, but at the same time, how it benefits the whole community and the environment, for that matter. In Macau, our two integrated resorts, City of Dreams Macau and Studio City Macau, both have the most solar panels in the entire city, and I think we generate more megawatts of energy than the entire Hong Kong in terms of solar panels. So we always like to push the envelope to explore how we can help the generations to come. Similar with our investment horizon, we have the same type of horizon for generations to come. So we are monitoring that, but as a group-wide, our focus is to be carbon neutral and zero waste by 2030. And we have a great chief sustainability officer. She's constantly, we recently joined the Ellen MacArthur plastic initiative. So there's a lot of things that we're continuously pushing.
Okay. To win over Japanese communities who are, as you know, very concerned and reluctant about the whole idea of casino as they see it, not simply IR, that they're focused very much on the casino element. Do you think that, they're not the first community where you've had to go into, which haven't had these facilities before, but dealing with Japan, do you see it as being, are there special techniques or special approaches you need to make to win over communities to your side?
Well, I think the years I've been coming to Japan, it's important to be as inclusive and be as patient as possible. Because at the same time, I can understand a lot of local citizens when they think IR, and IR stands for integrated resort, but they have used that word, kind of similar to pachinko. So when they think IR, they think pachinko and say, oh, that's terrible. If anything, I think the IR regulations, and we're already seeing more of it in terms of increased anti-money laundering practices, and hopefully in the future, because it's much easier. There are over thousands of pachinko parlors all over Japan. It's very easy for people to just get in, and the machine is right next to you when you get in. Whereas in IR, you really have to make an effort to go there. It's not something that you can go every day. And so I think as part of the IR legislation, it will also help the rest of the gaming addictions in Japan. So if they put more guidelines and requirements before people can just easily go into pachinko parlors, that would be good. But in terms of convincing the public, it's really just patiently working with all the local stakeholders, the associations, the Chamber of Commerces, the local prefecture governments, the city councils, the national government, and really just to get the message out there that IRs are more than just pachinko parlors and casinos. Only 3% of the IR in terms of gross floor area is actually the actual casino. 90% of it is everything else. That 97%, I always say, is what Melco does well. From our resorts to hotels and food and beverage outlets to attractions, entertainment, shows, those are all the stuff that we focus on.
As a Macau company, do you think that you have any special hurdle to overcome in terms of convincing the Japanese? There seems to be kind of an idolization of America, American culture, American business, but you're coming from a different tradition, and one which has sometimes had tensions with Japan and still does in some ways. So what's your strategy for overcoming Japanese concerns about coming from Macau to Japan?
Well, I think for us, the company is headquartered in Hong Kong, listed in the US, and of course, we're very lucky to derive 90% of our EBITDA from Macau. But having said that, we are a company that has a presence in the Philippines, in Cyprus, and probably the only company that has global aspirations. And so I think the important thing is we need to convince Japan that the benefit of Melco is we're Asian-based. We understand the Asian customer base, and this is the Asian century, whether it's from the rise of China, the rise of Japan, the rise of India, Southeast Asia. That's where the middle class is growing the most in this century. And to have a company that is based here and then is an advantage because we understand our guests a lot more. And at the same time, guest experience that doesn't discriminate between nationalities. And so what we want to convey to Japan is really, if you want the right visitors and if you want a good corporate citizens that has done well in every city that we've ever been in, then Melco is your partner. We feel the award-winning architecture and everything, this premium high-end stuff that we built, attracts the right visitor. It's quite easy just to get a lot of mass traffic, but is it really what people want? And I mentioned it inside. Is the masses jamming up the streets and worsening traffic? Is that what you want? Or do you want really people who are culturally curious, want to explore different regions? I think that's our pitch, but we have backed it up in our years of Macau, Philippines, and what we're doing in Cyprus right now.
Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you very much for your time.